Welcome to channel ANMAC, your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your online YouTube visa consultant. Now in this video, I'd like to discuss in regards to the skill assessments for all the nurses and midwives. Now, nurses and midwives are a very specific occupation to start with. They need to get a specific registration, and then in order for them to actually get their skill assessments. And every country do deal with the nurses and midwives differently, thus the immigration skill assessment part is quite complicated. So in this video, if you are interested to become a nurse, or you are already a nurse, or perhaps you have been working as a nurse for many years and thinking about migrating to Australia, this will be the right video for you. So let's jump into the Skill Assessing Authority. Now, the Skill Assessing Authority is of the name, let me just move that, Australian Nursing and Midwife Accreditation Council. As you can see, if I remove my screen right at the top right corner, you'll be able to see the option of skill migration services up here. So once my cursor goes over, it pulls down with overview, modified skill assessment, modified plus skill assessment, full skill assessments there. So I'm gonna take you step by step and going through all of these to let you understand what these are. So the first thing is the modified skill assessment. As you can see at the left hand side with the big title there, modified skill assessment. As we read through it, it basically says if you are currently registered with the Nursing and Midwife Board, which is the NMBA, and you should find another acronym of APRA, AHPRA, which is the board that registered with all the medical related occupation and staffs. Okay, so within APRA there's ANMBA, which they manage with all the registration for all the nurses and midwives. So that means if you already get registered, and then or you've been registered with the Nursing Council of New Zealand, NCNZ, or Midwife Council of New Zealand, MCNZ, and you'll be qualified for this skill assessment. So who are these people? Generally will be the graduates of who was a student studying in the Bachelor of Nursing in Australia or in New Zealand. So during the time they will first be enrolled as an enrolled nurse, and then once they've been qualified with getting all the completed courses or program or accreditations, and then plus they will have to have an IELTS score of 7 across all bands, and then you'll be able to get yourself a registered nursing little card they'll send you. Nowadays they send you by online. So and moving downwards here, if you're applying modified skill assessment and do not hold current registration on the NMBA, you may be found unsuitable. So you need to be a registered nurse. So this modified skill assessment pathway are basically for all the registered nurses who are already completing the courses in Australia or in New Zealand. So generally during the course, the course commanders or the universities will have allocated or managed to assist you, because that's one of their program or courses pathways, and you get enrolled, and then once you get your English proficiency done, you become an RN, registered nurse. So in the modified skill assessment, first thing is that arrange your verification registration email to the verification@anmac.org.au. So you need to scan your registration and send it over to that email, or you can post to Skill Migration at GPO Box 400 Canberra CT ACT 2601. And then after that, you can collect all the other documentation that basically include your passport, change your name, documentation, official passport size of photo. So obviously that's a digital one. Graduation certificate, professional reference, and agent declaration. If you choose to have an agent, lawyers, or whoever that represents you, you need to get that signed as well. And the detail is within the checklist. And once that's all done, you go online, complete that online form, and pay the thingo, and then obviously upload all the supporting document digitally, and that's done. So that's one pathway there. And the other one I wanted to show you is the Modify Plus skill assessment. So what's the difference between Modify and Modify Plus? So basically at the top here it spells out just right, not that top, just right at the bottom you see down here, if you're a registered in Australia, so that means you're not registered. If you're not registered as a registered nurse or registered midwife, but hold a current letter of notice of in principle approval or registration subject to approval ID. Now if you do hold that, and that was issued from, remember I was saying about APRA, here we go, that's APRA, AHPRA. So if you get that notice from APRA, and then you'll be able to get into this Modify Plus skill assessment. So again, it's not that hard. It basically, you get that thing to send to verification at anmac.org.au, and again you get all your proof of ID, professional reference, and the checklist, login, and send it as well. So, and they even created a video for showing how to utilize the portal as well. I don't think it's that hard, being used before, but anyway, if you do require assistance, you can leave a comment down below. So again, so these people, they may be in certain circumstances where they are deemed to get the registration, but they have the notice of principal approval registration subject to approval ID. So that's another way to go. Now the other commonly used pathway is this one, the full skill assessment. That means if you're a registered nurse and you do not hold registration in Australia, but have a minimal bachelor of nursing qualification, and there are specific countries here, okay? So Canada, Hong Kong, Ireland, United Kingdoms or United States, and hold their registration in same country to qualify a full skill assessment. So then you utilize this full skill assessment pathway. Now if you register midwife, if you do not hold registration in Australia but a minimum of bachelor midwife qualification in Ireland, UK, United States, you also use the full skill assessment. Enrolled nurse, you do not qualify for full skill assessment because enrolled nurse is under another category of assessing authority. That's a very different part. Now people ask, now what if I'm not a nurse from any of these countries mentioned above? Then the problem is you generally will require to go through the qualification in Australia again. Now the other way to do so is you get your qualification, go through the APRA, so they can accredit it, and once they accredit it, they will tell you what is the minimum excessive require a subject that you require to complete additional to whatever you have done. And then you come into Australia, enroll to those subjects or courses and get those done, and then you become a registered nurse. Then you go to modify skill assessment. So that's how you're going to do it. Okay, so again, the procedure is all the same. You go to verification at ANMAC, so whatever the registration you already got in United States, Canada, or Hong Kong, you send it to the verification at ANMAC. Now make sure those documents are color scan, okay? They do not accept, all the skill assessing authority do not accept black and white anymore now, so is the immigration system now. If you have black and white, you can get certified, but now the skill assessing authority is more picky. They don't even accept certified copies anymore, so it has to be color scan. And then you get all your ID, scan, and go into the portal and apply and attach to all these documentation there. So basically that's how the procedure of a nurse shall get their skill assessment through. Again, this is more for general skill migration and also for employment sponsor visa as well, because without a skill assess with positive results, you're not able or you cannot even validly lodge your visa. So it's very, very vital that you get your assessment done. So for nurses, obviously, if you got your assessment done, means you got registered the registration already. So once you get registration already, you'll be able to be employed and work lawfully in Australia. Anyhow, should you have any other further query or questions, more than welcome to leave a comment down below, and should you consider to subscribe to our channel, so once we have more information, you will be the first one to get all the Australian visa insights. I see you in the next video. Goodbye.